viewers, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Paris on a two-day visit. He was welcomed with a warm hug by French President Emmanuel Macron, and he was also invited to the welcome dinner ahead of co-chairing the Artificial Intelligence Summit in Paris. At the dinner, the Prime Minister also met US Vice President J.D. Vance, who is also in France to attend the AI Summit. PM Modi will co-chair the summit with Macron in Paris. He will hold bilateral talks with him and address business leaders. For India, the AI summit presents an opportunity to influence global AI policies and collaborate on international standards. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's participation signifies India's commitment to ethical AI development and positions the country as a key player in shaping the future of AI. Additionally, the visit includes discussions on defense and technology sectors, further strengthening bilateral ties between India and France. First, let's take a look at what is the significance of this event. My colleague Ghazali is also joining me. Ghazali, take us through the significance of this action-packed AI summit, India co-chairing it with France.
See, this has two significance. One, through the diplomatic lens, if you see, France has chosen India to be the co-chair of the summit. This is the third edition of summit. The previous two editions had happened in UK and in Seoul in South Korea. So this particular summit is a bit different. Why? France sent out a message that India is also capable, or France considers India as an important partner, and that is why it has invited India to co-chair the summit. And the underlying message is that India is also one of those players which will have a say if a multi-nation treaty is signed regarding the AI, also sending out a message to China that despite being neighbors, they have considered India as a reliable partner, or at least worthy to be there to co-chair the summit. The second one, as you rightly pointed out, that on the sidelines of the summit, India and France already will have a roundtable conference on AI. There will be some defense deals which will be announced by Mr. Modi and Mr. Macron. As far as the AI summit is concerned, this particular summit will focus on good governance and finding out the environmental sustainability through AI. And this is something which the Prime Minister has been talking about even when it comes to the energy sector. AI is one of the emerging technologies, and all this while, if you recall, this has been like US or China who had the monopoly over this technology. And now with India's participation, at least a message is being sent out that India is also one of the stakeholders there, because this multi-nation treaty which will be announced at the end of the summit will be very interesting to see, because that will also include a kind of funds which will sort of help in boosting AI technology, diversifying research into it, and India is likely to be a signatory there. So India's presence, or Prime Minister's presence in the summit, has its own significance, and also how this AI summit is going to form a long-time solutions, or what we can call a long-duration solution for emerging problems also. India will have a say in it. It will benefit India in the long run as well.
Absolutely, Ghazali, and stay with me. We are also being joined by Jibu Ilyas live from Paris. He's a member of World Economic Forum's Global Future Council on AI. Thank you so much, Jibu, for speaking to us live from Paris. Jibu, first of all, what's your take on the AI summit? India being at the helm of the affairs, co-chairing it with France. What's the strongest message that India is sending out to the world?
Well, Aditi, this summit, the Action Summit, has a lot of significance. Maybe the first two summits we had, the Safety Summit in Bletchley Park, and the later one we had in Korea, were more focused on AI safety. But for the first time, we are having a geopolitical game being underplayed in the Action Summit. Now, that comes after the recent executive order the Biden administration provided in terms of regulating the hardware, or the Trump administration's decision, and the China coming out with DeepSeek. So those all add more elements. And the great part that even there is Chinese representation, unlike the previous summit here. And I was part of the main summit yesterday, and it's so great to see how people are looking up to India, and not just the French here, because we have very earlier on, like back then 2018, we have very clearly set a guidelines, set a strategy on how we wanted to take AI forward. And this is a strong, the Indian delegates has been there. It's been a very strong message we are trying to give Unlike the technologies that preceded AI, we cannot be sidelined here. We are the largest population in the world. When we definitely have a say in it, and we will not sit down quietly. That's the message we are giving.
When we speak about the India's role in the world, we are also seeing how China is putting up a very tight competition by putting a cost-effective and cost-friendly model out there, while all the other players right now in the market have a much costlier model. India is also saying that they will come up soon. As per our minister, he says they will come up in at least 10 months. In the next 10 months, India will also have a model similar to ChatGPT, DeepSeek. How do you see India can combat these challenges of being a cost-friendly model?
So India, I mean, we call ourselves, experts in Jugaad, right? We find our own ways to address challenges. If you remember, our whole the Mars mission costed less than the movie Gravity, or the Hollywood movie. So ISRO is a good example of our ingenuity and our passion and our ability to solve problems from time and time again. So with AI, I feel that will be one direction we should be looking at. Right now, I think there is a lot of FOMO with the foundational models, language models, and we still don't know a lot of reality on how the DeepSeek was trained, and the following models like Quinn that came out from Alibaba after that, or the one that came out from ByteDance being trained. So China is still a black box. I have spoken to some of the Chinese representatives here from Chinese academic institutes. So they don't agree with the claims that DeepSeek has made. But what will be interesting for India will be the geopolitical element, because from what I am hearing, we are expecting a statement from Vice President Vance, which might be provocative in nature towards China, and in that kind of scenarios, where will India comes in, right? In between a race between China and the US, India will be the most prominent player there, right? Who rest of the world will look up to, being a historically we've been standing our own position rather than taking any sides. So that will be interesting. And secondly, I mean, it's not just about whether we create a language model or not. We have been doing a lot of interesting work in the last few years. After US and China, Indian researchers are the leading researchers in AI. If you look at the global way, right, we are top in 10 in terms of the number of patents we file in AI. So we are on a strong trajectory towards the top three or top four or five in the space of AI. However, we need a lot more of addressing the basic challenges, like improving the quality of computer science education, infrastructure development, in terms of computing infrastructure. Those things also needed to be addressed with a lot of urgency.
Mr. Elias, you speak of the aim to have a network which is safer for everybody. This summit also aims to ensure that AI evolves with an ethical, sustainable, and inclusive approach. Do you think the steps that are being taken right now, as global leaders are gathering at the same platform and talking about competition also, do you think that the spirit of competition, while every country is eyeing to make their own model, come up with new strategies to have AI models, do you think safety will be the first thing that they will think of, or will it be compromised at some levels?
AI safety has to be a priority. From some of the talks I have attended, everybody agrees that we cannot have any compromise in terms of AI safety. Now the question is how all of us define safety, from what perspective, right? Maybe tech companies will have a different perspective. People like me have a different perspective on that. So AI safety has been utmost priority, and we have seen with the rise of AI safety institutes, India is going to have a one virtually very soon, and even China has been made some commitment towards something like an AI safety institute network. That's something that's a outcome of the Bletchley Park event. But more than that, there is this widespread concern among smaller nations, from the representatives I have spoken with, the diplomats and the leaders from countries in Africa, South America and Southeast Asia, that the countries who don't have the data capacity or have the skilling infrastructure and other things, there is a significant concern right now amongst these countries that what if this goes into a 3 or 2 space race, and countries like India, taking a prominent role. What will happen to them? There is a significant fear of being left out. That's been yesterday. I think yesterday a representative from Vatican also expressed that concern. How smaller countries will experience a increase in inequality and many other social challenges as a result of AI adoption, with many of the keys being held by some of the bigger players. Now,
Right.
but yes, if we have open source models like DeepSeek we mentioned, right, which you can modify, you can run it on your own compute device. That will be another way of looking at it. But I think the most concerning part is the technology is moving very fast. The AI technology, as we have seen, right, models after models coming out, numbers are changing, and it will be very challenging to see if the global governance capabilities, countries can catch up with that pace.
Absolutely. It remains to be the priority of this summit to create a AI, build up an ecosystem that aims and ensures that AI evolves with an ethical, sustainable and inclusive approach. Thank you so much, Mr. Jibu Elias, joining us live from Paris. He's a member of the World Economic Forum and the Global Future Council on AI. But what does this whole artificial intelligence summit mean, and how India is emerging as a major and a dominant global South player? Take a look at our reports.
Just a few decades ago, artificial intelligence was mostly associated with science fiction books and movies. There was a paradigm shift about a decade ago when a machine could produce language or even recognize an image. These days, machines aren't just generating homework assignments, but are also being trained to drive cars and guide weapons systems. At the forefront of this technological revolution are United States, China, and several European nations. It is clear that there needs to be a unified approach to ensure AI development is equitable and accessible to all. Experts are advocating for the creation of a global AI framework that leaves no nation behind. Last year, the UN General Assembly adopted a landmark resolution on artificial intelligence, during which the US said that there needs to be a commitment to closing the digital gap between nations. Without a globally unified AI framework, there is also the danger of AI nationalism, a scenario in which countries prioritize their own technological advancement over shared global welfare. Rather than encouraging cross-border collaboration, there is a risk of countries developing conflicting policies and regulations. Experts suggest that a global framework would need to address key issues such as data privacy and fair access to AI technologies. A global framework's necessity can be gauged from the escalating tech tensions between the US and China. Experts are calling on the powerhouses to prioritize cooperation.
I think the United States, in order to benefit humanity, needs to abandon that zero-sum mentality of always securing its hegemonic status in every sector.
So how is AI expected to change the world? While it is safe to say that it has already changed the world, it is still early days, and it is quite difficult to summarize the answer in a few words. One of the biggest concerns is whether AI would replace humans in the workplace. Kareem Lakhani, who is a professor at Harvard Business School specializing in workplace technology and AI, says that AI is not going to replace humans, but humans with AI are going to replace humans without AI. Some of the brightest minds have contrasting things to say about AI, from dubbing AI as more profound than electricity or fire, to saying that the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. It remains to be seen how in the next decade AI will transform everything, from economy to healthcare and defense. One thing is clear, the revolution is well underway. With Vishal Vivek, Bureau Report, NDTV.
The AI Action Summit in Paris will witness Prime Minister Modi alongside French President Emmanuel Macron US Vice President J.D. Vance and Chinese Vice Prime Minister at the helm, shaping conversations that will steer the future of AI development. The summit aims to ensure that AI evolves with an ethical, sustainable, and inclusive approach.
It's a major AI summit, and India would be the co-chair of this summit along with France. India and France, of course, have a deep strategic partnership, as you're aware, and the significance of this visit is that India would be bringing to the table the concerns from the global south, that we would like the AI tools to be safe, to be trustworthy, to be secure, that there should not be any concentration of these tools in a particular geography or in a particular set of corporate sector.
India's participation marks a key turning point in the nation's technological journey as it accelerates towards becoming a leader in the global AI race. With an eye on innovation and progress, India is already adopting AI to better deliver social services, improve public infrastructure, and enhance healthcare services. With a $1.25 billion AI mission and a skilled workforce, India has all it takes to be a global AI leader. This collaboration could open new doors for Indian economy, pushing it further into the realm of tech-enabled manufacturing and next-gen industries. Unlike China, where the DeepSeek's AI models seem to be linked to the state machinery, or OpenAI's ChatGPT models, where profit is the only guiding force, India can create the right balance. Just like its digital public infrastructure, the UPI and the BHIM app, which have now become the backbone for global digital financing models for the global south, India's AI models can create the ideal balance between the two extremes of US and China, one driven only by profit and other primarily meant for state control. As the world fast forwards to the future, India's private sector is showing immense promise. Bhavish Aggarwal's AI entity Krutrim is in advanced stages of creating a supercomputer that could leapfrog India into the supercomputing league. And unlike the Western AI models, India can lead the global south in creating cost-efficient supercomputing that can be replicated by poorer countries around the world. The AI revolution is underway, and as the world barrels down the digital highway, India is firmly in the driver's seat, ready to lead the way. Bureau Report, NDTV.